Inspector General of Police, which has resulted to a halt in the police recruitment and the attendant capacity shortage and weakness of the Nigerian police, may have a far-reaching national security implication, potentially emboldening terrorists, bandits, and other criminal elements.
We lost the opportunity to get 20,000 policemen and women into the service. So I think we need to do something to ensure that this kind of experience is never relived.
But unfortunately, as a result of personality clashes, the issues went as far as the Supreme Court. Whether withdrawn or not withdrawn, this Police Service Commission we have just cleared today, with the Office of Inspector General of Police, to be cautioned to take the interests of Nigerians into consideration and the security of this nation uppermost, and not their personal interests, and work harmoniously towards the realization of Mr. President's vision that Nigerians should be allowed to sleep with their two eyes closed.
Okay, so that is part of what we're going to be talking about this morning. We're joined by Mr. Fatai Owoshini, who has been the Commissioner of Police. He's been in Lagos and Benue State. He joins us virtually this morning. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program today.
Good morning, Mr. Chamberlain.
Okay, so let's talk about this. This has been on for a while. I mean, you heard some of the senators there say for 2 years we could not go ahead with recruitment. It cost us about, they say, 20,000 police officers could have been on the stream. And then there's been this back and forth between the Police Service Commission and the IGP, as it were. So from your understanding, what is the crux of this matter?
It is very sad, very unfortunate. There is no reason for it. But in a country or in a system where you don't allow the law to take its course, where extant laws, rules, and regulations are jettisoned, that is what you have. The institutions were created by law, and by their enabling law, they have specific roles to play. So it shouldn't be a matter of personality clash, like the Senate President said. The individuals that occupy the office shouldn't really be the main focus. The focus should be how are they adhering to the enabling laws. It is, like I said, it is uncalled for. It is uncalled for. It's a bit senseless as well. And I'm talking from the point of view that I also worked in that Police Service Commission when the retired DIG Parios was the chairman. I was the head of the police liaison unit. And at the other side, I worked as the principal staff officer to the Inspector General of Police. So I saw all these things. This protracted going back and forth, it is just unnecessary. It is immaturity. The law and the Constitution is very clear as to the functions and the roles that Police Service Commission should play. And the IG, as the operational commander of the police, he also has his own role. So even the shameless, action of even going to the court shouldn't be there. And why we're having this is because when it comes to the police, measures have also been taken by government. There is a grandfather that should look into this. That is the Police Council. The Police Council, as per the Constitution, it is created, but it's not made to function. That is that council where you have all the governors of the Federation and the president as the chairman. So when you have issues like this, they should be able to go back to the Police Council, where you have all the governors. The president is sitting there as chairman. The Inspector General of Police is a member. The chairman Police Service Commission is a member. You now have an aberration where some people are saying that the Minister of Police Affairs is trying to meddle into what is happening. The Minister of Police Affairs practically has no role under the Constitution in this. We must follow the law. And once you allow yourself to be ruled by law, Nigeria is such a country that you have the laws, but you don't obey them. And the people that are supposed to be the custodian, the people that are supposed to make sure that the laws are obeyed, they don't even care. Why can't the police council come in? Why is it that the police council has been made moribund? These are the questions we should be asking ourselves. And in all this, just like one of the distinguished senators said, 2 years have been lost. We are going back and forth. We are saying that the strength of police is not enough. We are looking, sitting down and allowing people that are not really critical in internal security management to assume the role they shouldn't assume, destroying the police day by the day. That is what this country is doing.
Mr. Oshani, just so we can stay on that point, because that is the crux of the matter, this recruitment of police officers. We've seen what was expected from the UN, one policeman to 450. We're trying to see if we can do one policeman to about 200 or 250 in Nigeria, but what we have right now is one policeman to 650, which everyone agrees is not right. Now, personalities aside, and we've heard the Senate President say the IG needs to be cautioned. Very interesting that was the area he went to, because when this issue came up, it was the police that had complained about the recruitment process done by the Police Service Commission, citing a lot of issues. That some of the candidates that were successful were not people who registered. Some of them didn't pass the computer test. A lot of issues that the police force complained about when it came to the recruitment done by the Police Service Commission. Just talk to us a little bit about this dynamic. When it comes to recruitment, is it the sole responsibility of the Police Service Commission? And if there's an issue, is the IG of police allowed to interfere the way they did in the last one?
Like I said, it is non-adherence to the law. It is a constitutional matter. The Constitution that created the Police Service Commission had said that commission would be responsible for appointment of persons to offices in the Nigeria Police, other than the office of the Inspector General of Police, including dismissal and disciplinary duties. So there shouldn't be any, controversy about this. And how did the Police Service Commission come about? 1957 Wheeling Commission. And when that working party sat, because of the fears of the minority, they found it expedient to put checks and balances. They created a Police Service Commission that will handle recruitment. And of course, in the mindset of the people that created it, because the police is large, they said part of that duty should be delegated to the Inspector General of Police. All Inspector Generals of Police that are appointed, the first thing they do is to write to the Police Service Commission requesting for that instrument of delegation. Has that been done in this case? And when the instrument of delegation is given, you are bound to report back the obligations carried out under that obligation to the Police Service Commission. In this case, the commission with the Office of the Inspector General of Police set up a recruitment board. There are other stakeholders, the National Assembly, the Federal Character Commission, and all those things. Where is this board that was put up in this exercise? Why should the Office of the Inspector General of Police run to the press? Like I was in that commission before, the chairman then, there were mutual way of sorting out those things. Should you run to the press? And of course, you now have something that shouldn't even happen, that a staff union is the one that is now responding to the allegations of the Inspector General of Police when the board has not been put in place. Where was the permanent secretary in the commission as of that time? And the timing of bringing all these things out, show a kind of malice. So we must go back to the law. But like I said, a gap is there. That gap is the fact that the police council, the governors in the country must wake up and get the police council to work, the president should allow the police council to work. This is uncalled for. It is a law, is a matter of the law, and the law must be adhered to. For the fact that they've even gone to the Supreme Court. If you have a recruitment board that has representative of the IG, representative of the Police Service Commission, of the Ministry of Police Affairs, of the National Assembly, of the Federal Character Commission, how come none of the members of these stakeholders have come out to talk that it has now to be?
Oh dear.
Okay, I think we lost him for a bit.
I hope he gets back.
Yeah, we'll get that connection back.
You remember the removal when Solomon Arase was removed as chairman of the Police Service Commission, and now we've seen the Mr. Arugungu assuming office. Many people had controversies around why Mr. Arase was removed.
Yep. Okay, you can go ahead.
Yes, can you hear me, Mr. Osheni?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so we wanted to be able, we were just talking right now when the network gave us a bit of an issue about the removal of Solomon Arase and the assumption of office of Mr. Arugungu. Talk to us about that dynamic, because so many people had a lot of raised eyebrows at the time when Solomon Arase was removed from office.
No, I won't want to go into that. The government and, of course, the office of the president that made appointment, it's just all about law. We should be guided by the law. So I will not want to dabble into that, what circumstances, but what is making people to now even, insinuate is the reason, the fact that it's as of that time that removal took place, that the Office of the Inspector General of Police came up with that controversy. So that would make people to make a lot of insinuations. We must be ruled by the law. The laws are not made for fun, so we must go back to the law. So,
Mr. Washington, so what's the assurance that what we've seen play out now will not play out again? Because as you said severally, we've got the laws, yet these things still happen without intervention of the police council, which you spoke about.
The way it will not play out is for the person, the body that's supposed to grandfather the two institutions, that is the police council, must rise up to its function, its obligations as per the Constitution.
Have they ever risen up to anything lately?
At all. That is, if they've risen up to it, you won't even have this controversy over whether you should have a state police or not. If you go to the Willing Commission, when the Willing Commission created that body, that is why they said the police is such a complex and delicate organization. It should not be under so much of a political control. That is why the president is not made to be the commander-in-chief of the police, like the armed forces, is made the chairman of the police council. And in the write-up with Willing Commission, it is said that it is not envisaged that at a point in time you have a president and all the governors of the federation coming from the same party. So that is the beauty of democracy. So you will be able to have, different opinions which will be discussed and you will agree on something. But that council is about the most moribund body that is created by the Constitution. It is only when the president has appointed IG and they want to confirm the IG that you will see them coming up to come and talk. The function of the council that is put in the Constitution, organization and administration of the Nigeria police force. For the 35 years that I was in the police, I've never had a situation where the police council sit and, they perform this duty. Other than that, every two or four years or so, when they want to appoint the IG, that is when they sit and they will come and say they are confirming the IG. It has been said in one of the reform committee reports that the police council should probably meet quarterly, set up an office, ask the IG to take his policing plan, annual policing plan to the council. It will be benchmarked based on that policing plan. It is on the basis of that the budget of the police will be done. If the council continues to remain dormant and moribund and non-functional, you'll be having this. If we continue in Nigeria to be ruled by personality, not the law, and we make our law to be useless, that is what we will be having.
Mr. Osheni, what should be a working relationship, in your opinion, between the PSC and the police? The reason the question is relevant now is because from all obvious indications, it looks like the police, that's the Nigeria Police Force, as well, on the one hand, thinks that the PSC is not, doing it right. What should be the function of the police, and what should be the function of the PSC in the current melee?
The function of the police, the Inspector General of Police, is operational control of the police. And it's put in the Constitution. It is said that the Police Service Commission have power to appoint persons to offices in the Nigeria Police other than the office of the Inspector General of Police, while the Inspector General of Police is vested with the operational control of the police. And the Police Council is charged with the responsibility.
Oh dear. Well, I believe that we're going to get Mr. Osheni back, because one of the challenges, Kayla and Chamberlain, that we've had in this particular matter is, perhaps the clarity or the ambiguity or a lack of it. That's the functions of the different organizations. I'm not even just talking about the IG as a person or as an official, but the organizations, the two different organizations. On the one hand, it is clear that the function of employing staff for the police is that of the Police Service Commission. I don't even wonder why that is relevant in the first place, because that sounds like the law is saying that the HR for a particular organization is different from the organization itself. I don't know how that makes sense, but I guess that's another conversation altogether. But the fact that that clarity, well, Mr. Osheni, the fact that that clarity is absent is perhaps an issue here, because on the one hand, it is clear that the PSC recruits for the police. On the other hand, the police receives them. What an expert security consultant has said, that look, the most the police should be able to do when you're not satisfied with the recruitment you've gotten is to complain. Does the police have the power to reject?
This law is not such that is absolute. That is why a recruitment board is put in place. The idea behind it, I will still take you back to 1957, is because the police is seen as a critical organization in the country, and they need not to subject it to the power of just one person. That is why even when the Police Service Commission was created, the membership are supposed to be people that are not affiliated to political parties, that will have 3 permanent members, other members that will represent different interests in Nigeria, which we are not complying with. You should have members from the media, from the women's society, from the organized private sector, or we just handpick people that go there. We don't go back to the regulatory body, like you go to the Guild of Editors or the NUJ to say, bring somebody, nominate someone. Go to the organized private sector, nominate someone. Go to the National Women Council, nominate someone. We have found out that, people have been appointed just to compensate them for one political thing or the other. So that is why you have that. It is to regulate, how people come in. It is the minority that came up to say, oh, if we don't have a way to regulate the way the police is administered, you are just going to have a police that is dominated from one section of the country or not. That is why they put that checks and balances and put the police council on top of those two bodies to grandfather them. And that is the council that should be resolving all these protracted issues. Then when you also have people there, when Mr. Osanje was there, this is what I witnessed. Once there are issues like this, the IG will meet the chairman, or the chairman will invite the IG. Let us resolve this issue. Not going into the press and, washing their dirty linen in the public. It is the country that is suffering, and of course, they are not doing any well to the police. That is where the president or whoever should rise up to the occasion and make sure that the laws are followed to the letter.
Well, Mr. Osheni, if we are to make progress, what would you recommend as a progressive step now between the PSC and the police, particularly the IG? How do you see this issue being resolved?
Okay, like I said, I will still involve the National Assembly and the Police Council. There was a recruitment board that was put in place. It wasn't just the police and the commission that constituted that recruitment board. The Federal Character Commission, members of the National Assembly. Why is it that those other members in the recruitment board are not talking to say, look, we did the right thing? JAMB was asked to conduct the CBT. Bring the JAMB result out. Is it that they've taken people that did not sit for that aptitude test or whatever? So all those, making noise in the press will not help them. Where is the recruitment board that was put in place when that exercise was being carried out?
Well, Mr. Osheni, just before we go, I mean, the police, we understand that they said that they had written and submitted their facts to PSC about sale of some of those slots, allocating them to politicians, padding of all of those. And the police, the PSC did not respond to them, despite them saying, let's object to JAMS using the CBT. But they said they didn't respond to them till date, but they've gone ahead and moved on. But the thing is, if these issues, probably as you're saying, if the police council does not rise to the occasion, this may keep happening again. But I guess we'll hope that now that there's a new confirmation from the Senate, let's keep and see if these issues will be resolved. I'm afraid that's all the time we've got this morning. Mr. Fatai Osheni, former Commissioner of Police for Lagos and Benue States, presently advising the Oyo State government on security. Thank you for your time and perspectives this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's see some messages coming through now. We've got some feedback and there's quite a number. Where do we start, guys? Where do we start? I've got Dr. Kadev Kenneth. I also have Festus. I don't know which one is coming up first. Do we go with Festus? Okay, Festus it is. Festus talking about, he says, the deliverance of LG from the claws of state governors has just begun. The sound ruling of Supreme Court on LG autonomy should force governors to learn and understand the powers, roles, and functions of local government. Nigerians must ensure that the Supreme Court ruling is operationalized and executed in their states.
Imonoka, I think it's a professor, because put professor in brackets there. So Professor Imonoka Nakena, he says the governors or group of governors who have an iron to grind with this verdict by the Supreme Court are political bandits and do not want development to trickle to the grassroots. That's now an ample opportunity. Well, this is now an ample opportunity for the National Assembly to make laws to establish the state police, because this judgment effectively defines the powers of the three arms of government. Interesting take.
Yeah. Law Alpha Cross has this one. With full autonomy granted the local government councils. Okay, this is from Kadev, okay? The LG autonomy judgment is a landmark one, irrespective of the fears being entertained by Nigerians. Accountability will take the center stage at the local government level. All that is needed now is for the people to rise, to uphold the local government chairman and hold the local government chairman accountable. The issue of political autonomy does not suffice here. Autonomy in this case is sacrosanct in whichever way you look at it.
Well, it turns out that Prof had a lot to say. You skip some of them.
Well, but because we have Pastor Law, we have to be able to get to as many people as possible. Pastor Law Alpha C is also speaking up, says, with full autonomy granted the local government council and conversely allowing the state government to conduct their elections, it still translates that there is no full autonomy because this is Nigeria where political depression is brazenly displayed. So that's a different opinion.
Well, Prof had a lot to say. But pardon me, let me squeeze in one more. Prof, okay. He had a lot on his plate this morning. And this other part says the governors or group of governors who have an iron to grind with this. That was the one I took. Oh, that's the one you took?
Yes.
What about this one? He said there's no ambiguity.
Yes, so you can take
that one. In interpretation
one.
of the extant laws that's been espoused. He says the people will now have local government chairmen who reside in the state headquarters because they are jobless. But now they have an opportunity and obligation to bring economic development and provide security within their communities. And a number of people have advocated some of these things.
When you want something so bad, when you get it, you do know that everyone is watching you to make sure that you deliver now.
So
because any excuse will be taken now to take what it is that you've been fighting for.
Perhaps it's not yet to Huru, because the state governors might get the attorneys general to go and seek interpretation of Section 162, because I think Governor Fintiri is seeking that already, who knows. Anyways, guys, that is the show today. We do thank you all for watching. We'll be back next time. I'm Chamberlain, so goodbye.
Thank you for being with us all week. Have a great weekend ahead. I'm Kayla Magwa.
And I'm Akinde. Do have a wonderful rest of your day and a beautiful weekend.